Now let's take a look at how animals played a big role in this. They were the first ones to go into space, and the Russians were the first to have a dog test what it is like to have a being, a living being, going up into one of these capsules. Laika was the very first living creature to enter the orbit. Laika, which means barker in Russian, was a 3-year-old stray mutt that weighed 13 pounds and had a calm demeanor. She was placed in her restrictive module several days in advance, and then right before launch, covered in alcohol solution, painted with iodine in several spots so that the sensors could be placed on her. They were to monitor her heartbeat, blood pressure, and other bodily functions to better understand any physical changes that might occur in space. Though Laika's module was restrictive, it was padded and had just enough room for her to lay down or stand as she wished. She did not live, however, beyond 6 days into her trip, because on the 6th day, the batteries in the spacecraft died and all life support system fails.
Space dug down to the capsule and placed her inside. She was groomed for her voyage. We attached the instruments, made her farewell, and turned away from the launch pad. And didn't look back.
A special report on the Russian launching of a second Earth satellite. And now to guide this report here in New York is NBC News commentator Merrill Muller.
Good afternoon. A dog knocked a goat right out of the world's attention today. In a masterpiece of propaganda timing, the Soviet Union announced it had launched Sputnik #2, carrying a live dog. This is reportedly history's first space traveler.
Moscow reports this morning that the dog in the new Sputnik is in satisfactory condition, and the Reds hint that she may be parachuted safely back to Earth.
Space dog alive well. The Red Sputnik. The dog, barking his way around the Earth every 102 minutes, has won Russia new respect. A British editor asked me half-jokingly, how does it feel to be the citizen of a second-rate power?
Behind the scientific success lies a grim military warning. Confirmed now by Anglo-American scientists, the rocket that launched Sputnik #2 is capable of carrying a 1.5-ton hydrogen bomb warhead more than 5,000 miles to a target.
The kind of thing that a month ago would have sounded like a joke, but in Washington now, anyone who cares to laugh at this does so at his own risk. The Russians are talking about shooting up something that will hit the moon and possibly even make some kind of mark on it, visible from the Earth.
These Russians, who we had stereotyped as a crude people, barely able to master a tractor, were years ahead of us.
When that shaggy dog gets back from outer space, can we all go out and have another race? Where he still free the coon, or just howl at the moon. When that shaggy dog gets back from outer space.
In spite of these fears, Laika captured the limelight. Everyone wanted the first living creature in space to return safely to Earth. Laika became more famous than any actor or athlete of her time.
Oh, they'll pin a red, red ribbon in his hair, for being the only dog that's been up there. He'll be the talk in every town when that Sputnik comes back down, for he has been the highest in the air.
Change to Laika. Laika cigarettes, made of the best Eastern tobaccos.
known far and wide for their fine flavor.
Gentlemen, it appears that the whole world's concerned about little Mutnick flying around out there in space. Dr. Speck, what can you tell us about her chances for survival?
Well, I believe her chances for survival are probably quite good.
The Russians have not said so officially, but they have indicated strongly an effort will be made to bring the dog back to Earth alive.
The saga of Ham, Trailblazer in Space, is the story of a 3-year-old chimpanzee serving the cause of science. The little chimp has been carefully selected, thoroughly examined, and patiently tutored to help mankind discover whether living creatures can survive travel in space. Under the watchful eyes of Air Force scientists, Ham is taught to perform a series of in-flight experiments. By hitting certain levers when lights flash on, the chimp earns a banana-flavored pellet as a reward. After each test and each capsule, there is a sip of water to top off the tasty prize. Ham is but one of several chimps to undergo pre-flight training. Each is outfitted from head to toe with his own spacesuit as he awaits the big day. A special chamber has been built for the little passenger, similar in detail to the capsule that will eventually transport man into space. 7 miles of wiring and 10,000 parts are shaped and stacked layer on layer in an area smaller than a telephone booth. At last, early in 1961, the pre-flight preparations are complete. At Cape Canaveral, the blue-gray space capsule is ready to take its place atop the launching rocket. The minutes are like hours as the countdown is started and follows its methodical, measured pace. Only the star of the space drama seems unconcerned at the mounting tension around him as he arrives in typical high spirits for his final checkup. Weighing 37.5 pounds, Ham will be the largest animal yet to rocket into space, and the first creature trained to respond intelligently to signals from Earth. His little chamber is to be hermetically sealed. Lying on a form-fitting couch, the frisky space traveler has been strapped in. His arms are free, and he has a plastic window to look out. In the still night, the mighty Redstone rocket stands in majestic splendor, drinking in the powerful fuel that will catapult it more than 150 miles into the heavens. And then to the launching pad comes the chimpanzee. Plugged into his chamber is a control system that supplies oxygen and regulates temperature and pressure. Beside the service tower is an elevator that slowly lifts men and chamber to the top of the 83-foot rocket. The flight plan calls for the Redstone to propel the chimpanzee into space at more than 5,000 miles an hour. Atop the rocket, the chamber is placed into the spacecraft designed to withstand intense heat and tremendous pressure. From the time of insertion until the actual moment of launch, 6 hours later, Ham's actions and conditions are closely watched. The care and caution that marked the long months of preparation are continued to the very end.